Fellow academic staff around the world, welcome to Caltex Academy. In case you're new, my name is Julius and thank you for joining us today. In this video, I'm going to walk you through introduction to cycles, and there are three concepts I'm going to walk you through. One is the general introduction to cycle, and the second one is two properties of cycles, especially dealing with angles. And lastly, I'm going to walk you through two examples that illustrate the properties we have just learned. So if that sounds great and you have not yet subscribed to Caltex Academy, spare your second and become a member of this great family of academic staff by subscribing to Caltex Academy. Now let us move on and start with our video. So here we only see two things. We have this dot, and that is called the center of the cycle. So center of the cycle is a fixed point inside that cycle that measures equal distance to any points of the circumference. Circumference is a distance around a cycle. Let us move on and also give name O is the center of the cycle. This is the circumference. And next we need to explore is any line that is passing from one part of the circumference to another part is referred to as a chord. So I'm going to explore chords passing through the center like that. Now assuming it's straight and it's passing through the center, this chord is referred to as diameter, a special name given to a chord when it passes through the center. This one is the longest chord. If we have another line also drawn from this point of the circumference to the next point here, also another chord. Now the next terminology we need to learn is radius. Radius is the distance from the center of the cycle to one point. Now when we measure from here up to this point, that becomes our radius. So when we double 2 radii, if it is more than 1, we call it radii. Then it becomes our diameter. Therefore, the distance here is also the radius of the same cycle, and it is always equal. So our diameter D is the same as twice R. I want to draw some line, and I'm gonna give some labeling here saying A and B. Now, what is the importance of giving these 2 points? We're going to explore 2 things. Now, the distance from A up to B is called an arc, and there are 2 types of arcs. One is the shorter arc, referred to as minor arc, and the next one is the major arc, the distance from A to B through the longest distance is the major arc. Now when we join the point here at the center to join this point, and again like that, we know this one is the radii. This area occupied by the minor arc and the radii is referred to as minor sector. There are also 2 types of sectors. The minor sector with the smallest angle here, maybe you can say this alpha, and the major sector here with angle, let's say beta. These are few points we need to note about cycle in this introduction. The rest we shall keep on exploring as we move on with this series of cycle. Now at this point, let us take a look at the properties of cycle. So there are many properties of cycle, and I've already categorized them into different sections, and in this section today we're going to look at properties of cycle concerning circumference angle. I already told you that we're going to look at 2 properties. So the first property says angles that are suspended at the circumference by the same arc are equal. So we already talked about arc. Now we're saying angles that are suspended at the circumference by the same arc are equal. So meaning angle at P is equal to angle at Q is equal to angle at R, as it has been mentioned by this line here. Then the second way of saying the same property here is angle suspended at the circumference by the same chord are equal. this is the chord A, B. Now, when we subtend from A to this point and back to B, also from A at a different point from the circumference back to B, and again from A at the next point at the circumference back to B, we will obtain always the same angles. So these are two ways of seeing the same property. I hope we have gotten it well and can be able to apply it in any given question. Let's move on and take a look at property number 2. For this second property, it says the angle subtended at the center is twice the angle subtended at the circumference by the same chord or arc. Now let's take a look at it here. We have a chord A, B, or we have an arc A, B. If we subtend an angle is the intersection of two lines. So line AO and line BO meet at this point and that forms for us an angle here. So from this property it says the angle subtended at the center is twice the angle subtended at any point of the circumference. Could be somewhere here, somebody can draw from here like that, so long it goes and meets this angle is the same as what we have here from property 1. This angle at the center must be twice the angle subtended at the circumference. That is what we are going to summarize it here. So this is another second property that we need to mark and be able to use it in any given question if asked. So let's move on and take a look at our first example. So in this example 1, we have a question that is find the angle marked by small letters below. We can rename this as A and B, or Roman number 1, Roman number 2, for us to be able to answer them step by step. Now let's take a look at part A, and we have this cycle. This time we are using the arc PQ since we don't have any of these chords here. The angle subtended at the center is twice the angle subtended at the circumference. So we can say angle P, O, and Q must be equals to twice angle P, R, Q. So angle POQ is A and angle PRQ is 23. So we multiply it by 2, 23 degrees. So this will give us A equals 46. So that is the angle at the center, just double the angle at the circumference. For B is also the opposite of this. As you can see, the angle at the center is given as 52 and the angle at the circumference Z is given as the angle XOY must be the same as twice angle XZY. Let's make substitution. Angle XOY is 52 and angle XYZ is B, so we multiply this by 2 and we're gonna get 2B. So for us to get B, we're gonna divide both sides by 2. So let's rearrange this and we divide this by 2, also the left hand side by 2, and the 2 cancels off, so we're only left here with B equals, so dividing 52 by 2, we're gonna get 26 degrees. So that becomes the answer for part B of question number 1. Now let's move on and look at our third question number 2. For example number 2, it says the figure shows a circle center O circumscribing a triangle PQR. Find problem number 1 the size of this reflex angle P or R. Now the reflex angle is this angle here. Following the two properties of just done, then we can move on and be able to find this angle. We need to get our angle here. So we can let this angle be X. And take note that this length PO is the radius and is the same as OR. Triangle POR is an isosceles triangle. And the properties of isosceles triangles that says the base angles are always the same. So taking that into consideration, meaning if this is P, then this base angle must also be P. So taking the angle sum in a triangle, then we can say X plus P then plus also the next P must be equals to 180 degrees, and that is the sum of angles in a triangle. Simplifying these two p's together, then we're going to have our x plus 2p. This must give us 180 degrees. So taking these two p's to the right hand side, we're going to have x equals 180 degrees minus 2p. So that becomes expression for this angle here. The sum of all angles at the center equals to 360 degrees. Now we're gonna say x plus y equals 360 degrees. So we're gonna substitute for x with this value here and say 180 degrees minus 2p plus the value for y here, that is what we're looking for. This must give us 360 degrees. Connecting this term to the right hand side to get y alone, then we're going to have y equals to 360 degrees minus 180 degrees plus 2p. We can simplify this. When we subtract 180 away from 360, we're going to get also 180 degrees plus our 2p, and that becomes the reflex angle POR, as the reflex angle here is the same as 180 degrees plus 2p. And remember, this one is in terms of just p because p is not known. If it could be an angle that is known, then you can move on and substitute for p and you get your answer in degrees. Now next is part 2 of this question that says find p in terms of q, and this is where we're gonna apply the property we learned earlier on. Now since we already know x, the angle suspended at the center is twice the angle suspended at the circumference. So taking that into consideration, we're gonna write that relationship. So this relationship is angle POR is twice angle PQR. When you look at angle POR, this is the angle X, not the other one, but the one we have here as an obtuse angle, and that is the value. We can go on and make substitution. So we're gonna have our X equals 180 degrees minus 2p, and this must be equal to twice the angle PQR at the circumference. Now we're gonna make this p in terms of q. Since this one is negative, then we're gonna take to the right hand side and bring this to left hand side and have 180 degrees minus 2q. This is the same as positive 2p, and our main target is to make p alone. So let's swap it and we have 2p equals 180 degrees minus 2q, and here we're gonna divide both sides by 2, and if we distribute this term by term, we'll have the first term here by 2, the second term also by 2. Then 2 from the left hand side cancels and we have p is the same as this simplifies to 90 degrees, and this goes to only q, and that becomes the expression of p in terms of q.